Okay, friends, so today is time to tackle, among other things, the rear fender of the old 75 CB550. This is the fender in its original condition, with the exception that I have taken the chrome and, using a horizontal flap disc, been able to give it a brushed look, much like my front fender. It's important when doing this, and of course this is just experimental, it's not finished, I may even go over it again. But as you can tell, there's a grain to it that's parallel to the long axis of the fender. So if ever attempting to do this, especially on a shiny chrome surface, it's very important that care be exercised, that you don't put any angled or cross-cut, so to speak, gouges or scratches in it. So orienting the flap disc in a way has given me a mostly parallel grain pattern the full length, which I do like. I'm going to do this initially, and if I like it, I'll keep it. If I don't like it, I'll probably end up preparing the surface a little bit better and then going with a painted or maybe even a vinyl wrap approach. Time will tell. This is still early in the project. So you're looking at these lines here. These are some reference marks I've made in prepping to cut this fender shorter, much like I did the front fender. Now, how did I arrive at my lines? Well, first of all, I wanted to get a reference mark that would show me roughly what a square cut would look like. So what I did is I took a 2-inch wide framing square and oriented it so that the edge of the framing square split the middle of these two holes. I figured these two holes would be representing a parallel line across the fender. And by just simply extending the one edge and then marking the other edge, this line is exactly 2 inches away from the centers of these threaded holes. I took the other side of the square, which is 1.5 inches, flipped it again, scribed the other side of that 1.5 inches, and there we are. So we have a line there 3.5 inches from the center of these two holes. It just so happens that those layout marks roughly correspond to two visual points I made while this was still on the bike with the seat installed. So that actually worked out quite well, quite nicely. So what I'm going to do is, like the first fender, I'm just going to hack off the bottom of this so that I can use this bottom as a profile, a template, and then I'm going to locate that template at this line, scribe the cut, make the cut. So let's see how she turns out. Okay, so I've made the cut and used the template now to scribe this new line here. Just using this method. Okay, pretty straightforward stuff here we're talking about. However, after scribing the line, I've discovered this creates a slight problem here. So we're going to cheat this line. We're going to keep this line here, but what we're going to do is we're going to just adjust the arc along here to make the radius of the arc meet right here at the end of this side brace. Same thing's happening on both sides. So we will make the adjustment. And of course this line is easily wiped off with a solvent. Okay, so the seat here is just sitting on top of the frame. It's not really even sitting on the hinge pins. I'm roughly in line with where it would be sitting normally. The rear fender is sitting where it will be approximately. All the holes are lined up. I just haven't put any bolts in it, so friction is just holding it in place. I think this is a big improvement, but whether this ends up being what I do in the long term or not, yeah, I don't know if I'm 100% convinced yet. I like it, but I don't know, given time where I've had a chance to chew on this a bit more, might even come up with an even better idea. Something else that might improve this, again, would be maybe to paint it as opposed to having it be brushed chrome. I'd like to try to make it disappear. I guess a lot of it will depend on what I do long term with my seat, if I keep the seat original or do something to modify it. So many options, so many good ideas out there. I've just got to, I don't know, buckle down mentally and start picking some options, come up with a comprehensive plan, and then just stick with it and see it through. Anyhow, just a little fun experiment with a rear fender today. Stick with me for more videos in the series.